With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Tonight, the PRL Truck Series starts a 2-week residency in the Sunshine State. Tonight, we are live from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway, where the PRL Truck Series will race for 1 hour around this beautiful oval track. Well, we start here. We'll end next week at Daytona, but welcome in. My name is Derek Watson. Evan Basoko is currently out of the country, so I am joined tonight by Corey Ensing. He is a new commentator, but welcome in, Corey. Welcome into Homestead, and this should be fun.
Oh, it should be a lot of fun. I love this track. It's in the top 5 favorite for me, so I'm excited to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, this is a great track here. As we take a look at the schedule, you'll see what I meant by that 2-week residency. Corey, here we are at the start of week 5. Week 6 is Daytona. Starts the actual, what I call the NASCAR calendar. Then we'll do Atlanta, COTA, and Phoenix the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's a good lineup. I mean, after this, you got 2 super speedways, so I'd say try to get as good at points as you can tonight, because you don't know what's going to happen the next 2 weeks.
That's a big question, isn't it? Well, speaking of the points, let's take a look after last week. It's shaken up a little bit here. Bradley Holly holds a 3-point lead over Ted Lowendick. Reese Bogue's up in 3rd, and it's Matt Gagnon and Richard Regan up in your top 5. And then it's Kalen Kirby, Bumgarner, Jacob Dunn, and Doug Evans rounding your top 10. But look at that, 3 points. That'll be something to track all season long. Now, Whataback Racing holds the team points here, Corey. Look at that. Look how close this is for team points here. This is still wide open.
Yeah, oh, definitely. It's anybody's game right now. And, I mean, it feels like the season's just starting with the tracks we got coming up. So this should be big.
Yeah, some close points up and down the field to take a look at. But before we get to the racing action, let's go ahead and take a moment and thank our sponsors for this broadcast so we can get started with tonight's festivities. Starting with Logitech. Logitech G wheels and pedals are equipped with true force. That's force feedback that helps you feel the road and own the race. You can use the code PRECISION at checkout on logitechg.com to earn 5 to 10% off of your purchase. Next up, owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products by using the Precision5 coupon code. Racebox offers mid to high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts. From the casual gamer up to the most meticulous of sim racers, these boxes are competitively priced and carefully handcrafted. These button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceSpotTV and get a 5% discount using the Precision5 coupon code. Next up is the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add an incredible immersion and realism to every game you play. You can feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Moradness. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. Visit moradness.com for more information. Next up is Mr. Head's iRacing Photography, where you can capture your finest, proudest, or simply maybe your worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K 4K resolution. They're a great addition to any sim racing room. And then get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motors. Follow them on their socials to learn to become a better driver today. Well, again, thank you to all of our sponsors for putting on this broadcast. We appreciate you. But here we go. A little bit of time left here in this qualifying session at Homestead Miami Speedway, Corey, and drivers are putting down some laps here. We'll come around and look at a truck ripping around the outside and talk us through a qualifying lap here. Is this like Daytona? Do you want to kind of sacrifice the first lap to make the second one better? Or do you want to go all out for both laps?
Honestly, I go full out for both laps. These trucks have a tendency to be a little faster in the second lap, but right now, how the trucks are driving, fresh tires, they're so finicky, and you want to be so smooth at this track for time. So I just use both chances to try and get the best lap that I can.
Well, speaking of best laps you can, Jeff Evans was the truck we were on board with. He just put the fastest lap down. You see his name up in purple at the top of the board. Here's Zach Panzarella, and he is going to be in the 33s. That's not close enough to get on the pole here. That'll put him 13th at part of Daily Drivers Incorporated. It looks like I think this has got to be end here. That sounds like the truck's, no, maybe there's a live run. I thought the truck maybe was a little slow, but I think maybe it's just misjudging here. But you're right. Both laps is the way to go, Corey. Now, with this transitional banking, it's very important to track out here, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. And it's scary, too, as well, as you can see there. You feel like you don't have any grip as you move up to the track or the wall. And once you get right by it, then you have the grip to make the rest of the corner. And it's hard to put it all out there, but you have to set the best lap.
It's Brett Adams coming out here, set at 33.452. That'll put him in 23rd place. And I think when we see the grid graphic in a moment, Corey, I think people will be surprised maybe how close these trucks are. Look at the graphic on the left. Look at that. It's less than a tenth of a second from Evans to Bumgarner, less than a tenth from Evans to Bradley Holly. I mean, it takes, oh my gosh, with a P10, P9 to get to a tenth of a second on qualifying times.
Yeah, Derek, they're all pretty good here. I think underneath 33 is where you want to be. We have, I think, 4 guys under that, so
yeah, so we got just Brett Adams wrapping around here, getting the last bit of time on track. About a minute left in qualifying here, and so this will be a busy race. I know you and I talked pre-race, and you said you think this will still be a bit of a draft fest.
yeah, I was thinking that in our conversation early on, but I was watching them do a pit party in practice, and it got spread out pretty quick. I think with how these trucks drive on fresh tires, it's I mean, draft is going to be important if you are just as fast as somebody else, but I think skill-wise is going to spread them out pretty quick.
So a story will also follow here tonight. Let's look at the grid, and we're going to talk at the end about the do not qualify. There's a bunch of names in the back that we'll see how they're going to handle tonight's running. But let's get started on the grid. Jeff Evans is your pole sitter, a 32.973. That's a great run for Miracle Flow Motorsports. You got Regan Bogue Developmental's Dustin Bumgarner outside in P2. Row 2 is Bradley Holly and Mark Kalin, with Ted Lowendick and James Morgan of Tabula Rasa Esports in P6.
Yeah, in P7 we have Stephen Kirby, Colton Lane outside of him, Nathan Deering on the inside in P9, with Zach Panzarella outside of him. In P11 is Sam Smeltzer, and in 12th is Matt Gagnon.
Matt doing a great job in P12. P13 is Colton Easterday with the other Tabula Rasa Esports car in P14. That's Jacob Dunn. Alex Hillman and Andrew Sharp back in row 8. And then Daniel Knight and Evan Williams back in row 9.
And then in row 10 is Austin Hunter and Stacy Hunter. And then Brett Adams and Doug Evans behind them, with Nicholas Hunter and Edward Peltz.
That takes us back to 24th, and 25th is Joy Reynolds. 26th is Ryan Newman. No, not that Ryan Newman, but still a great, talented driver. And 27th is Zachary Williams. That's the last car allowed to set a time. Now let's go through the rest of the names not pictured on the grid, Corey. Here's the names and get them ready for you. It's going to be Richard Regan Jr. back in 27. Reese Bogue, Dalton Geyer, Doyle Lawrence, Mike Toomer, Steve Loving, Thomas Sink, Tom Macy, Nicholas Schwartz, Matthew Zerowick, and Zachary Burnt. That is, I think, 11 trucks who had do not qualify penalties. There's some talent that's going to move through this field. That's got to be scary if you're a driver in the back, knowing that some of those top tier names are going to try to get through quickly, right?
Oh, definitely. But this track, it's all about the long game. So even the back runners can be confident that those guys behind them are going to be burning tires trying to get to the front.
Well, we're getting ready to set the grid and get ready to go green here in just a moment. This is a 1.5 mile racetrack. I think sometimes people forget, Corey, this is a 1.5 miles because of the shape of it, because of the way it races. It feels longer when you're in the vehicle, right?
Yeah, Derek. Those corners just feel so long, and the straights as well just feel so long. It doesn't feel like 1.5 miles. But you look at the type of racing that you get out there, and it shakes up to be 1.5 miles type track.
Yeah, very long straightaways here. So this is a long track. We'll talk about as the night goes on. We'll talk about progressive banking. We'll talk about the track and how it's changed. It's been about 2 or 3 configurations over the years. We'll talk about the racing action and the points. Lots to cover as we start to roll off the grid. But Corey, if you could pick apart maybe 2 or 3 keys to victory at this track, what would they be?
Tire saving and deciding when to go. It's the biggest thing here. Tire saving. You want to save your tires. It's so easy to overdrive them, and then you just have nothing for the end. But you also have to decide when to go, when to pick your battles, and make it to the front.
Well, you see the track 73 degrees in the air, 90 degrees on the track. It's 12:17 p.m. on the 8th of February, virtual sim time. Well, here we go. We're on the formation lap. It's a 1 hour race. No matter how many laps we turn, it's 1 hour on the clock. We're racing the clock one time around, and we'll see who can come out and win the first of 2 races here at Florida in the PRL Truck Series. Well, I believe for the first time this season, Jeff Evans will lead the field around, and there it is, green flag in the air at Homestead, Miami Speedway. Oh boy, Corey, look at this. We're down the back straight. We're already 2, 3 wide throughout the field. You talked about this maybe being a drafting fest. It looks a little bit like a Daytona start.
Oh, definitely. I think I saw 4 wide in there, but we saw someone get sideways in that pack, but I'm surprised they held on to it. So good to go green for the first lap.
Evans did a great job, led the first lap around. That's Ted Lowendick and Bradley Holly side by side. Those are teammates 1, 2, and 3. He's got Mark Kalin, Dustin Bumgarner behind him. And man, if you're Evans right now, you're still happy they're side by side behind you. They got it worked out though. But look across the field, down the screen. Oh my gosh, 2, 3 wide at times. Here we go, working our second time around. There's timing and scoring, so you can find out where your favorite driver is across the track. And right now, Corey, if you're Jeff Evans, what do you do to make sure you hold on to this lead?
Derek, first thing I'd do is keep an eye on that rearview mirror, see what the guy behind me is doing, what strategy he's doing, what lines, and then just focus on tire wear. It's so easy to get ahead of myself, but biggest thing is just tire wear.
Well, let's take a look and see what happened to Zach Panzarella. Look at the top of your screen, that light blue teal car. Oh my gosh, there's a, whoa, a little bit of contact. He got that thing set. I think that dark blue car in the bottom sort of helped him keep the car saved. Otherwise, he might have been up at the inside wall.
Oh, definitely. I think he forgot he was in Florida and thought he was in Tokyo with that drift.
Yeah, a little bit. Or he's dirt racing up in Lima Land or Eldora or somewhere with that kind of drift. You're right. Looking back in the middle of the field here, that's Jacob Dunn and James Morgan, 11th and 12th. Behind them, you'll see Andrew Sharp and others. That's Matt Gagnon and 14 leading this herd around. And this race may thin out, Corey. It may go single file, but they're doing their best not to let that happen here.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are betting on that it's going to be a long run to the first caution, if there is going to be one. But I'm sure after we get 1 or 2 cautions, these guys are going to bunch up more. I see a lot of bottom lane action, which I'm kind of surprised about, but we'll see how that works out.
Well, Everybody survived what the drivers were concerned about earlier, Corey. Everyone was talking about the first couple of laps in this truck being super loose and super slick. But they said as the run goes on, this track will tighten up a little bit. Now, you and I have worked together a long time. I know you prefer a looser vehicle. You like to race very loose vehicles. So hearing that the truck is going to tighten up, does that mean you want to get out there and make moves early?
Generally, I'll make moves early. I'll take them more as they come. But my biggest focus is to not run off the front tires so I can kind of keep a little bit of looseness in the truck.
Here's RaceSpoTV. We're on board with one of the many drivers not allowed to qualify tonight, trying to work his way through the field and doing so pretty quickly here. He's already up to 19th place. That scrubbed the wall. That's going to kill a bit of that run there.
You can see a bit of that looseness. I noticed in practice, a lot of these guys, it's tight when they're not pushing the truck, but sometimes they go for a push and immediately it breaks loose on.
See what Bogue does here, and he's going to be right here now behind the 17. And Bogue is trying to make a move here on Daniel Knight and see if he can get around him. It's a little lower in the corner, gets a massive run.
Yeah, I'm curious if he can make this low line work here. You saw him trying to work the high side last lap. That's where I would expect passes to be. So if he can make this low line work, that's pretty big.
Looks like as far as going to make it to work, he's stuck into the bottom. It's very much clear. Daniel Knight seems to come up here out of the corner and take that spot, and he does. So that is a spot for RaceSpotTV, as we now are about 4.5 to 5 minutes into this race here. And we look across the board. There's lots of movers up and down this field here. And one of them, that yellow truck in the background there, that's Richard Regan Jr., Corey. He is up 13 spots since this race began. I told you I thought in that truck that he would want to make moves early. And he is already up plus 13 up to P15.
Yeah, Derek, he's taking my kind of approach to a race, which is get the pass done early when everybody's bunched in, and then you can focus on the long run.
So what's the concern, though? Like, if you do that and you are Richard Regan, is the concern that by making all this time up so early that you're burning up your tires? Is that the concern you have? I mean, here he is already ready to the back of this choo-choo train, if you will, but he's got to be concerned about his tires, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, depending on how you're driving it, if you're making passes without deviating too much off of your saving line, you're pretty confident. But if you had to drive pretty hard to make up those spots, you're kind of hoping for early caution here to rack up the field.
There's Andrew Sharp on the bottom of the corner now under the 84, trying to see if he can make a pass work in the bottom. He's got Matt Gagnon behind him. I'm happy to see these two Top Rossi Esports cars, lined up together. They had a chance to talk with both Dunn and Morgan earlier, and they said, hey, last time we raced the trucks here, it was fun. Now, they indicated maybe the truck was a little too tight for their liking, so we'll see if they can hold on to these spots today. But these two guys in line, when the teammates work together, maybe a little bit of fuel saving, how important is that here?
I'm not sure how fuel saving is going to work out for a timed race. I haven't done a timed race here, but generally in a regular race, fuel saving is not huge. You're going to be pitting for tires before you pit for fuel generally here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy, but here we are working lap 12. Jeff Evans has led all 12. So Jeff's doing a great job here. His dad's further back in the field, Doug Evans, but Jeff right now, part of Miracle Flow Motorsports, is not walking away, but it's definitely racking up the number of laps led here. Doing a great job staying in front of Bradley Holly, and not sure if Jeff's holding Brad off or if Brad is biding his time, but either way, Jeff continues to lead here at this very, I guess he called aqua-colored racetrack.
Yeah, I'm betting on Holly is just sitting there waiting for the right time to move, and you can see his steering inputs in the corner here. He's barely steering that steering wheel. That's huge for tire saving.
You see the room of Bradley Holly there. Look at all the Lego in the background, all the stuff he loves to show off. Some some Precision Racing League posters back there. And if we flip it around, Corey, one of our best features, and we'll see in a little bit, Brad sometimes has a helmet cam of sorts. We'll look at that later, and you can see what Brad is seeing, but we'll get back to that in a moment here.
So
again, look at that. There's Bradley Holly. There's Nathan Deering up in the 5. That's the car working the top lane. He's sort of the odd man out here of sorts.
yeah, definitely. Top lane is going to burn off a little more tire, but I kind of view that as like the passing lane on the highway. Like you get more run out of the corner to make the passes on the straight. So if you're looking to make a pass, generally that's what you're going to be using. So I think Nathan's trying to work his way to the front right now.
Here's Nathan, got the big Sports Illustrated cover behind him, the big like life-size form, racing in the VR. So it's pretty comfortable there. Look at that. Look at the difference in the wheel inputs. Watch if we stick here for a moment, Corey. You talk about how much Brad is moving his wheel. Let's watch Nathan in the corner. That feels, remember, it's mirrored, so it seems backwards what we're seeing on the camera. But remember, that feels a little less movement than what Brad was doing, right?
Yeah, and we'll see that as the race goes on. Even that 2, 3, 4% difference is going to be huge over the course of 40 laps. So I'm interested to see if he holds on with tire wear.
Now, is that difference in wheel input because he's riding the higher part of the track, so he doesn't feel as if he has to, move the truck as much? Is that maybe where that comes from?
Definitely part of it. Yeah, that higher banking has it gives you more grip, so you don't need to turn as much, and you're taking a longer turning radius than the guys down below. But still, it's pretty huge. So we'll see what happens.
This is a battle back deep in the field. This is Zachary Burnt in the 28 and that black, white, orange, and green truck got massively loose out of the corner. Wow. Sorry, that was Doyle Lawrence. I apologize. I had the wrong number there, but no, sorry, I'm getting produced notes on my ears. I was right. It is Burnt that was loose. Boy, that was scary, Corey. And that's typical of Homestead, right? That's something we see all the time at Homestead. Is it due to the progressive banking?
Part of it is that you're on the throttle so early, and if the setup's a little loose, you get down into the shallow banking and your truck wants to come around. Part of it too that catches me out is you're holding that steering input for far too long, and then you feel like it's tight, and all of a sudden it'll become snap loose on you, and all of a sudden you're around to go.
So let's talk about the progressive banking. That's something that came into effect, I believe, back in 2003 is the first time it really was raced on. It basically means that we don't have consistent banking in the corners. That's what that means. We're going to ride on board, and man, look how loose that got. So what it means is basically the middle of the corner has more banking than the exit of the corner. So that really helps. Oh, hold on, let's come back to that. Here's a battle for the lead. This is finally now Bradley Holly making his move on Jeff Evans, and Evans has moved up top, but I think Brad's gonna possibly clear it down into 3.
Yeah, so you can see Jeff there. He's riding the high line. He's running a defensive line there. That I would assume that's what I'd be running for a defensive line, because you're taking away the exit speed out of the truck below you. But we'll see what happens here as we see the onboard view with Bradley Holly.
Yeah, this is a beautiful view. I love this view. He has a second webcam strapped up to his headset, so you can see what he sees. See his screen there. Kind of get a small glimpse of the track map up to the top right, his telemetry on the top left. But that's all of what Brad sees right there. All the gauges, the inputs, everything. And you're right, Evans did a great job there. He has now kept Holly at bay and is maybe slightly putting a small gap, a quarter second here, back on P2.
Yeah, I noticed Holly's steering input there was getting into about 45 degrees, and generally if you get past that on your steering wheel, you're oversteering. So I think he's working really hard to try and keep up with Jeff.
Oh, Sam Smeltzer, that was wickedly loose out of that corner. Smeltzer, you see that truck wiggled really hard, Corey. It looked like a goldfish in water right there.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
Let's watch before, see how this got set up here. Look at him, he's in traffic here. That's Colton Lane, 2 trucks ahead. Whoa, buddy. And as a driver, like, when that happens, what does it do to you? There's a feeling, you kind of get that pit in your stomach when the car gets that loose, right?
Yeah, if you're not expecting it, it's just a confidence burner, because now you're like, man, I gotta manage my truck along with traffic and paying attention to what people have or what's going on. So you're just like trying to get your truck under control and get comfortable again, especially if you do it for a few laps in a row. Like, I like driving a little bit on that edge, so I'm a little more comfortable with it. But if you're not comfortable with it, you're going to hardly make any moves after start snapping a little bit.
And there's that part where you're trying to diagnose it in the car, right? You're like, I know I turned that line the past 4 times. Like, why this time, right? You have that moment where you start to question, like, well, what's different? You know, like, is the track changing? Is the weather changing? You're like, I know I've ran that line, 5-10 times in a row, and it kind of really gets to you a little bit.
Oh, definitely. Or like, did I burn off my rears too much? Are my rears hot? Am I using too much steering input? Did I get on the throttle too early? That's all the stuff that you're thinking about in a moment's instant, trying to diagnose what's going on.
Yeah, well, speaking of diagnosing, Richard Regan's doing a great job of diagnosing his way through the field. He's up 19 spots. He's up to P9, and this is one of our first trucks in the grid not to qualify. I mean, this truck dominates most weeks. If not dominates, he's definitely in the picture on the podium, Corey. And here he is again. Look at that. He's now taking what you call the defensive line, and he's passing up there.
Yeah, definitely. He's taking that passing lane. It's defensive if you want to, the guy behind you is faster. But if you know you're faster, that's the line you want to take. Well, so you can see him just blasting through positions right now. This is fun to watch.
That's Colton Lane. He just passed a moment ago, so we'll watch out here. Remember, this is the battle up front, though. This is Jeff Evans and Bradley Holly. Evans has led every lap of this race, all 25, coming to 26 here in a moment. And we're about 15 minutes in, 45 minutes to go. So with already about 25, 26 laps in, Corey, you have to imagine we're not more than, 10 minutes from pit stops?
Yeah, we're about 10-15 minutes away from pit stops. The biggest thing here too is this is about the time where you start figuring out, okay, who's been saving tires and who hasn't. You start seeing these gaps in the leaderboard. Like Deering, I see, is a second behind the leader. He was right there trying to fight for position, and now he's falling back. You can kind of tell off of that, like, who's kind of knows what they're doing and who's still figuring it out.
A lot of people still figuring. There's Andrew Sharpie squeezed down to the bottom, and that's Colton Easterday up above him. There's James Morgan back behind them, trying to run as well and see if he can get caught up in this battle. This is the battle right now for 10th. So Easterday's doing a pretty good job, and that's a tight squeeze here at Homestead, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, and it all relies on how comfortable you are. If you're the outside car and you're comfortable running close, I'd run as close as I can where I could reach my hand out and touch the other truck just to take away a bit of their run on exit.
Yeah, Sharp's had some great runs in the PRL, but this season's having a bit of a struggle. But here's Jacob Dunn. This is P15. That's Alex Hillman, Brett Adams, and Daniel Knight. This is 15th through 18th, and more trucks on back here. And it's funny, we see up front how it's all kind of single filed out and kind of calm. And then here we are. We still got some nice side-by-side battles here back in the middle of the pack.
Definitely. This is a mile-and-a-half racing for you.
Very different. So coming back to finish that point we had earlier before we got that battlefield lead. So the progressive banking means what the banking is in the middle of the corner is not what it is on the exit. So that means that the bottom of the track, probably as a driver, is a little more unpredictable than racing the top lane, right?
Yeah, and the progressive banking as well is the lower lane does not have as much degrees of banking as that top lane. So you try to place your truck where you think the optimal speed is, or the optimal position for that banking, which generally for the high lane, you want to stay up high and use that high banking to get a run, whereas the low lane, you're cutting off distance and getting lap time from there, as we see our first taker for the pits.
That's interesting for a couple of things we're going to talk about, because he took the access road, and I'm not, oh my goodness, Bradley Holly got loose off of the corner there, but saved it pretty well. As far as I know, the PRL does not require you to take the access road into pit road. You are required to use it off of pit road. So if that's the case, Evan Williams has burned up a lot of time unnecessarily coming down pit road. Let's also talk about how that's happening at the 18-minute mark that seems pretty early.
It does seem pretty early. I mean, these trucks, I believe, can go about 50 to 60 laps without pitting, and we're about lap 30, 31 right now. So definitely early. It might have been that he burned off some tires, or he just has an alternate strategy. We'll come to find out.
Yeah, we'll take a look a moment and see what's happening. Also, I see Zach Panzarella's on pit road, so this may be I'm starting to get the idea this is becoming a strategy race, Corey. Maybe some drivers didn't think we'd go this long green, and they're going to try to run it in thirds, so about 40 minutes, 20 minutes, 0, and maybe some drivers are going to try to make it a one-stopper. The question is, how valuable are new tires?
Oh, they're huge. But the biggest thing on new tires is that you don't burn them off too quick. You're like, okay, sweet, fresh rubber, let's go. And I find myself just burning them off so quick right after that because I'm just excited to make some passes and whatever. So,
well, part of rapid theft racing is Andrew Sharp, and I talked earlier about Andrew. Andrew has had an incredible run here in PRL in the past year and a half of doing oval racing. This season's had a little bit of a harder time, but he's won multiple times already, Corey. He won a road course back in season 1 last year. Then late last year, he won an oval at Darlington. I've joked with him many times, said, hey, man, you would have learned an oval race, you won at Darlington. That's not beginner level oval to win at.
No, definitely not. That's such a tough track to race at. I've been racing on iRacing for nearly 10 years, and I still struggle at that track.
He's doing a great job here getting around the 60 of Colton Lane, makes the pass clean. As we now approach over just about 20 minutes passed by in this race here. Now, the thing that stuck out to me earlier, Corey, about that talk about the pits, right now it's only a couple of drivers. Zarowick went down, Panzarella went down. So it seems like a daily driver incorporated team decision to pit this early. Kind of odd to talk about teams at Homestead, right?
Yeah, they must have strategized before this and figured out that fresh tires is going to be better off than their pit stops, or have a certain strategy in place. But I'm curious on how that's going to go.
Yeah, the problem they all face right now, Zarowick, the first car a lap down, quote unquote, is actually 2 laps down. That's how long the pit delta is here because of the access road off of pit road and the pit stops and what have you. So Zarowick, Panzarella, Evan Williams. I'm confused about the stop, and it's because of the risk, right? The risk they're facing is they're hoping everyone pits in time, quote unquote, before the yellow comes out, if one comes out, because right now they're stuck. And even a lucky dog only gives you 1 lap. Those guys could all still be a lap down after caution pit stops here.
Yeah, definitely. They're hoping pretty much everyone makes it through cautions and that they can work something out and that their strategy works out. That, or they are betting on that there's going to be a caution coming out when everybody comes down to pit.
Yeah, I think that's what they're hoping for. But looking back towards the front here, it's still Jeff Evans running around, Bradley Holly, Ted Lowendick, Nathan Deering, and Dustin Bumgarner, your top 5. That's Bumgarner right there in the middle of your screen, that black and white machine, running it a pretty solid lap here. Of course, the configuration we see of the track today, we talk about the progressive banking. It's been here for over 20 years now, but before that, I mean, this track was a flat oval for a while. And before that, remember, it started almost like a smaller Indianapolis. That was the original theme for this track, and it just didn't race well.
Yeah, wasn't there a death at this track? I think there was some big accidents happening here.
There's been some big accidents, yeah, and some stuff, and it didn't race as fun as Indianapolis. It was much smaller. We see Brett Adams, I think, got a little loose there. Now he's up under Jacob Dunn, but yeah, so this track has changed a few times and really hasn't not been in existence that long. Look at that tight battle. My goodness, I believe it to be Doug Evans in that bright sort of highlighter green truck on the bottom. Wow.
Yeah, this is a battle right here. It's for 20th, but every position matters right now. So you can see all those trucks running the high line. They might have been running the high line the whole time. If you run the high line a lot, it's a hard time to run the low line. So that or they're defending position. So let's see how this works out with Doug.
There's Reese Bogue. He made the move to the bottom. He quickly got around Alex Hillman, and he's going to slide it back up. And wow, he barely got here. They're all gone wide. No way. That's not something you see a lot. Now that's partly due to Zach Panzarella on the bottom. That's a brand new set of tires that help with that 4 wide situation. But boy, oh boy, we're going to go super speedway racing 2 weeks in a row for Daytona and Atlanta. Not very often do we say 4 wide at Homestead.
Well, unless it's a restart, you'd see 4 wide, 5 wide here at restarts, and that's about it. Not 25 minutes into a run.
No, and as a driver, talk about that. Obviously, the iRacing spotter only gives you up to 3 wide. But if you're a 4 wide as a driver, and if you were one of those drivers in the middle, you're probably inclined us to back out a little bit, right?
Yeah, it depends. Depends on your situation. I run in VR, so I'm looking left and right, seeing where people are. But biggest thing, if you are holding on, just run that line and just hold on to it. If other people run into you, that's their fault. But if you're trying to save your truck, probably back out if you're in the middle.
Well, here's a battle on here. We'll talk more about that in a second. Here's Thomas Sink running up in P13. That's Sam Smeltzer and Matt Gagnon on behind him. Oh, hold on. Caution's out. We have a caution flag. There's a big wreck. Oh, contact afterwards. Is that Reynolds? It is Joey Reynolds. Yeah, the 37 machine. We'll wait and see what happened, how a bit of contact afterwards. This is going to change a lot of things here. Those are those trucks that were at least a lap down. So we'll track that and more as the caution comes out. Now, Corey, right now, for people like Jeff Evans, Bradley Holly, Ted Lowendick, this means they're going to get to pit right around the halfway time of the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the biggest thing right now is don't blow right through your pit stop.
Yeah, don't do that. But let's start by seeing what happened here. That's Reynolds in the back of the screen. Oh, there's a loose truck. Ooh. Is that Dalton Geyer possibly? I think it is, without seeing the number on the side of it. Yeah, I see 11. My goodness. And then the 11 just sort of hit him and helped spin him around afterwards. Wow.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I got it wrong.
That's a normal one here.
Yeah, the 11's Alex Hillman. I apologize. It was not Dalton Geyer, but watch it again. Hillman's just going to get loose here. Oh, never got it corrected. And then tried to get it off the wall is what he tried to do, right, Corey? And then in pulling it off the wall, he ended up making contact with Reynolds.
Yeah, it looked like the truck underneath him was drifting up, too. He might have been a little bit tight. And that's all it takes, a little bit left from the outside, a little bit right from the high side, and boom, we have a car.
But pit road's fully open. No one's going to stay out, I wouldn't think, who hasn't pitted before. There's Jeff Evans up front. And more in this moment. Let's see who makes a run up the pit road here and who does successfully. Got some other trucks that I believe was Nick Schwartz. He, I think, missed his pit stop. We'll come back to that. So I suspect he'll pit the second time by and give up the lead. For the moment, though, he will lead this race. There's Evans, Holly, Lowendick, Deering, Kirby, Bumgarner, Regan's up to P8, and more coming off the pit road here. But the story for the moment is going to be Nicholas Schwartz. I'm assuming he'll pit again, Corey, but I'm being told in our ears he missed his pit stall.
Yeah, no, he's definitely pit.
Whoa, there's a story. We're going to get to that in a second. That almost was 2 races in a row for Schwartz. We'll come back to that. My goodness. But let's see what's going to happen. Watch that, I guess, green and green machine. Green and yellow. That sort of John Deere-esque us colors. Just went right down pit road. Just kind of forgot where his stall was.
Yeah, that's so easy to do if you're focused, and especially if you tap the barrels like that and your focus is just, you're gone and you're thinking about that. All of a sudden, boom, your pit stall flies by and, oh, I guess I gotta go again.
My goodness. Now here's something to talk about. Why? I don't know. But, I mean, PRL encourages you to stay to the right side of pit road, but that's, oh my gosh, that's exciting. I need a cigarette after that. No, I was going to say last year, the last race we did here, I think 2 seasons ago, Nick Schwartz actually did hit the pit walls last time. So almost did it 2 races in a row. That would have been some very, very bad luck for him. Well, Jeff Evans led us around to the green flag the first time. When the green flag falls, he will be the leader again. So, Corey, now we did 30 minutes, basically evenly, minus 1 or 2 minutes. So now you should know how this truck drives, because it should be a repeat of the first time, right?
Yeah, definitely. But you're still on edge. This truck is on edge, so I'm excited to see if we can get 4 wide here on this restart.
New tires or loose tires, and green flag racing back at Homestead, Miami. There it is. You said 4 wide. Look at that right back there. That's Richard Regan, I believe, on the bottom of the track. He's wasting no time. And already got it cleared to 3 wides. Already maybe got it cleared. Yep. He's now ahead of Ted Lowendick. And Regan is up to P4.
Yeah, I was watching that exit there. You get back exiting turn 2, and that's the place to spin out. So glad we made it all through there clean.
Restart appears to be good. No black flags for jumping the starts. Everybody's good from what we can tell from race control. And this time it's a drag race down the line. And I think Bradley Holly just led his first lap of the night.
Yeah, you can see here Jeff Evans is fighting for it, though. He's not going to give up the lead that easily. As you see, Holly sliding up. You got to race this like a dirt track, just slide job to take that run away from the high line.
Well, here's a familiar sight. If you watch the PRL, that's going to be Richard Regan and Bradley Holly side by side. And Regan went from not qualifying to leading the race here at the 30-minute mark.
That is so impressive. 27 spots gained right now, leading the race. And I'm excited to see if he can kind of run away with this one. If he's made up that many spots, how far away can he get?
Look at that. You see the spots gain you did on the side of your screen. But now it's Holly, Evans, Lowendick. 3 teammates right behind him, 2, 3, and 4. If they want to stay in contention, they have to stop this side-by-side battling, right?
Yeah, definitely. If they want to work together, you guys got to sort things out and work together, and just single file right now.
That's what they've done. Almost like they heard you talking about it. They've got it sorted out 1, 2, 3, 4 before you find a truck up top. And we're going to keep racing it around here. Now there's the halfway mark, and you just hit it evenly on the clock. That's Mark Kalin in a 62. That's Matt Gagnon in the 14. They're 3 wide. And that's Stephen Kirby up top. So these guys have, hey, these are new tires. We're going to race it hard.
Oh, definitely. They're thinking short term right now. Let's make up our spots while we can, while everybody's together. But I wonder if there's anybody back in the field that's like, all right, I'm gonna save my stuff. Everybody's running that hard. Here, let's make up some spots 10 minutes from now.
There's a battle for the lead. Look at this. Jeff Evans wants the spot back, and there's Regan. You said this is that defensive line, but look at that difference. Regan is almost pinching. You said earlier that Evans ran the high line and stopped the track out spot, but Regan has sort of pinched him down there.
Yeah, definitely. Either you can run up high and take away the run from the high line, or you butt up right next to him and hold him down as long as you can.
Here we're on board with Matt Gagnon, part of Regan Boats. The old WCW paint scheme up there, Corey. Kind of a blast from the past. A company that closed, I think, 24, 25 years ago. Coming up to the anniversary of that. Got fans still repping it here, of course, after Royal Rumble weekend. Lots of wrestling fans. Wrestling's kind of becoming cool again.
Yeah, I haven't been much of a fan myself. I've never gotten into it, but it's cool to see it so popular and still making headlines and whatever to this day.
Yeah, it's still making headlines to this day. But here's Richard Regan wants to make a headline. He has a lot of wins to go to catch up to Bradley Holly for all-time wins, but one by one, he can stop niching them off the board. It's got Nathan Deering now up to P2, by the way. Deering has gotten around Jeff Evans. And look at this battle. There's Mark Kalin, Bradley Holly, Stephen Kirby, Ted Lowendick. Andrew Sharp is back there. Matt Gagnon's the who's who of PRL. And it feels like they're all stuck in a 187-mile-an-hour traffic jam.
Yeah, definitely. You're trying to plot out when to save, when to not. Okay, this guy's tracking up. I'm going to drive it underneath him and see if I can slide up underneath. That kind of stuff you're all thinking about right now as you're still on fresh tire.
the hope. Everyone's hoping these tires will keep blasting and they can keep making moves here. But look at this, mostly single file. I'm impressed, or at least surprised, maybe is a better word. You know, early race, we saw everyone kind of bottom lane like they are in the corner there. Maybe they're all back to bottom lane racing, but up off the straightaways, you all get top lane. I'm a little surprised how single file this is. Does that surprise you or no?
Yes and no. It's hard to make a pass once it becomes single file. So the more people become single file, it's like it's going to chain effect down the line. But it's the outside line, everybody's kind of protecting their spot. They're not wanting to lose anything right now. So yeah.
There's Colton Lane now trying to make a move in that old Valvoline inspired paint scheme. You've seen like on a Mark Martin car back in the day.
Yeah, he was looking to go 3 wide there. I saw him look for a quick second while he had that run coming out of turn 2.
By the way, update here. I don't know what happened. I will tell you that Nicholas Schwartz, the driver who missed his pit stall and almost hit the pit walls, has backed out of the session. He has called it a day. Not maybe he ate a penalty on pit road or under yellow, but he has went ahead and called it a day, and he's out of the race. But boy, we almost had a big wreck there, Corey. That felt really close to drivers making contact.
Yeah, definitely, and that's just how it goes. You got to run close if you want to do well here, and sometimes people get a little too comfortable.
Everyone's looking not quite that comfortable in this pack. Oh, there's, whoa, that's James Morgan. That was not comfortable. That car wobbled back and forth a couple times. Ooh.
Yeah, he was fighting that thing.
Yeah, that'll wake you up.
Looks like he's on the front end, though, of that pack that's about 12th to 20th or so, 25th. So that's a good thing for him. As we're 3 wide behind.
A forced 3 wide. That white truck in the middle got really tight. It looked like it climbed the hill very, very quickly. But now all is good. That's the 37 of Reynolds, who was in an incident earlier. And man, oh man. Now Sam Smeltzer, he almost sandwiched into the wall there. But Reynolds now's got to, no, he doesn't. All of a sudden he's got it under control, and wow. So Corey, talk about that. When you're in this car, obviously you're having a problem with it being loose. What do you do now? Do you back off the throttle? Do you just want to find some space to yourself? How do you correct that in this moment?
Yeah, definitely. If I have the opportunity to maybe lose one spot, but now I'm running alone, I will, and just kind of figure myself out mentally. If I can't lose position, I'll just try to smooth out my inputs and back off a little earlier and just kind of figure it out and try to keep even with the guys that I'm around until I feel like I'm comfortable again and try to fight.
Well, I think maybe he got it figured out a little bit here. We'll come back to the front of the field. Look at this. That's now Matt Gagnon ahead of Bradley Holly. Holly really was a dominant first half of this race here, but now it's back 6. Here's Mark Kalin now. He is challenging Jeff Evans. Mark, remember, came in second end of last year for the championship. Mark thought he was the underdog going into the finale and really had an amazing run and almost won the year-long title. So Mark, at times I think is more talented than he thinks he is. And I pointed out, Corey, because I think that's not always a skill you find in sim racing. Sometimes you find guys who are, think they're more talented than they are, but Mark's a pretty humble guy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you just try to be consistent and take off spots as you can.
Look at that in the background, Corey. He's got a big tire back there. He's got that Lego Titanic set back there. He tells me he's not building that until he gets a light kit for it. So he has to put it together once. But I've been on him to get that thing built. I want to see that thing done. But here he is. Look at that, bumping Jeff Evans down the back straight. I guess I'm not opposed to the bump draft here at Homestead. It's a long straightaway, but he was a little close to the corner for my comfort.
Yeah, sometimes you want to give them a little bump right on corner entries, so then you push them up the track and try and take the low line underneath them. But otherwise, you'll see it a lot coming out of turn 2, out of turn 4, when you got a good run and you just don't want to give it up. So you're like, I'm going to push it on to the next guy.
Doing a great job, really sticking right there, right behind Jeff Evans, doing a great run. Well, I would think all these drivers who pitted at the halfway point, which is basically everybody's, look up and down timing and scoring. I don't think fuel's going to become a story. We all pitted about halfway through with the caution. I think we're good, but we'll keep an eye on that. And there is a truck back in the field. Little wobbly was the floor. This is Reese Bogue. I mean, I'm a little surprised by Bogue, Corey. Typically a driver who likes to find his way to the front. His teammate Richard Regan is leading.
Whoa.
Neither one was allowed to qualify, but Reese Bogue hasn't had the success here. But hold on, that's Mark Kalin. Is he now battling for the lead? Let's go back to the front. There it is. That's Mark Kalin to the front.
Kalin must have been saving his tires a little bit, and yeah, made the pass at the right time.
Did make the pass at the right time. Pass the timing and scoring. He's now credited for leading that lap. And Mark Kalin's going to try and pull away. Let's look at the replay here in the top left of your screen. Watch how he gets there. Got around Jeff Evans and he's quickly cut to the bottom of his corner. Is it a slide job out of the corner?
I think he had the speed already.
Not even a slide. That's almost too far ahead for a slide job.
Yeah, and look at the timing right now. He's already nearly 4 tenths ahead of Kalin.
Right here in the field, that's Sam Smeltzer and the 17. They were almost got together for a second. It's Daniel Knight. But I think they got it cleaned up here. Let's wait and see the replay of that. That looked close from the camera shot we had. Watch up top here. 2 cars. That's right above Thomas Sink. Oh, a little bump to the back. And Daniel Knight, the great save.
Yeah, that was a little too much bumping on entry, I'd say.
Yeah, remember, it's sort of funny because we talked about it a couple laps ago with Evans and Kalin, how that corner entry, and we're going to talk about that a lot next week as well at Daytona, but oh boy, just a difference in speed right there. I mean, that was like Knight had checked up, not checked up, maybe lifted, and his opponent did not.
Yeah, Knight was probably trying to save his tires a little more,
So much for that.
and then caught up in that. I've had that happen a few too many times.
And the frustration is that once that happens to you, you kind of feel like, well, that was pointless because I probably burned my tires up smoking them up like that, right?
Oh, definitely. Or you got damage from hitting the wall.
Well, this race rolls on. We're 2/3 of the way through. We just hit the 20-minute mark on the clock. Around this 1.5-mile track here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Corey, what I'm amazed by is that, I mean, here we are, we're 40 minutes in. Lots of 2, 3, even bits of 4 wide racing. And all that's been pretty clean racing. We saw some bumps and some slides, but only 1 caution so far.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I mean, you race these in officials, and you hardly ever come across a race like this. So I applaud all these drivers for racing as clean and as respectful as they have so far.
Yeah, doing a pretty great job, but look here. If we look up ahead the track, look at that. You talked a moment ago about some time gaps, and we'll look at them in a moment here. But first, here's Thomas Sink working his way through the field as he is now going to make the pass on Colton Lane. That's a great run there. That's going to be the battle up here toward the middle of the field. But look at this. There's Jeff Evans. There's Richard Regan. What you can't see in that photo or that image or that video, that's a half second from Regan to Mark Kalin. Mark Kalin not only took the lead, he's slowly walking away with the lead. And last time by, Corey, he is dead even on time, down to 1/100th of a second on Richard Regan Jr.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see as the leader. You're like, okay, I got half a second on the car behind me. Let's just maintain that. I don't need any more, but let's not be losing any more of them.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? You're right. It doesn't matter how much I win by, as long as I win. I don't care if I win by a half second, a second, 3 or 4 seconds. Hold on. We're being told there was another save by Nathan Deering at the top of your screen. We'll get a replay.
We still got action going on.
Yeah, it's a big checkup. A little bit of accordion effect happening here. That's going to cause this to finally settle, I think. Watch Deering in that blue car in the middle, right behind the 14.
I don't know if that was netcode or a snap loose type of thing, but
it almost
good job on him to keep it straight.
Did he almost like check up for the car in front of him and got it unsettled? I don't know. But yeah, you're right. That was a pretty scary moment for Deering and the rest of the field. But yeah, I almost wonder if there was some movement there with the air or maybe just a checkup for, watch this here. There's Deering ahead of us. Here's Bradley Holly behind him.
Yeah.
Woo.
Caught the, might have been the air working there and it just taking away all that rear wing and boom, gone.
The weird thing, Corey, is that that's a great save. You can't, we had to point that out. But with the number of wild saves we've seen in these past, 43, 44 minutes, that felt like a pretty mild save compared to some we've seen so far.
Oh, definitely. And then you're also thinking like, okay, everybody's saving their truck. Who isn't? We could have some action here in the last 15 minutes on somebody that just can't hold on afterwards. And we got a yellow and all of a sudden we're racing hard for 10 laps trying to get to as much positions as we can.
Well, I'll tell you who's not saving a whole lot of tire or truck is Matt Gagnon. He's up to P3. This man has moved up +9 on the day. He's now nose to tail with his team owner, Richard Regan Jr. And I think they're going to work together and try to close this 1 second gap to Mark Kalin.
Yeah, that or Gagnon is going to pass him and saved a little more tire, but we'll see.
Interesting enough, listen right here. Listen to this corner. Let's lay out for a second. Listen in the corner. I think I heard something. Hold on. More importantly, what am I not hearing, Corey? He's off the throttle in the middle of the corner.
The throttle,
yeah, he's trying to save gas. I thought gas wasn't a story, but he is completely, I don't know if he's clutching, but he's at least off the throttle to the corner. One more time. Wow, that engine's in idle, Corey, and I mean, Regan's a great driver, and the funny part is he's doing it and still gapping third place.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's taking those parts where normally you're just off throttle and just turning the engine off completely, or clutching it, I'm not sure, and then getting right back on at his normal spot, and that takes a really good driver to be able to do that.
That's his teammate Matt Gagnon behind him, and then behind that's Jeff Evans, Bradley Holly, and more. You see a big battle still happening. This is just a gaggle of cars right here. That's Thomas Sink, Colton Lane. I think Doug Evans is back there. So a massive battle still happening. Nathan Deering's back in that group. Brett Adams, all back here together. So while there's fuel saving and strategy up front, back here it's all systems go.
Yeah, definitely. I think we might be seeing a mix of people are saving themselves and people who aren't. So some people have relayed that information saying, oh, maybe I can make it to the end. Some people are like, oh, people are driving slower, I'm going to take that spot. So
I'm starting to wonder if that fuel saving is going on back. If we could ride on board with Matt Gagnon maybe for a corner or two. He's not gaining time on his team owner, and I wonder if he's doing the same thing. Oh, yeah. No, this must be a race-wide thing that's happening. You saw the tachometer on the left side of your screen there. I mean, it was down to 0, Corey. So now I'm worried about Mark Kalin because Mark's now given up half a second. Maybe he figured out that he needs a fuel save, but apparently fuel's becoming the story with 14 minutes to go.
yeah,
Puppies.
definitely.
Look at the puppies. Sorry, I got distracted.
Those
Continue.
no, I don't blame you. Those are really cute puppies. I like that. And then, one thing I want to point out right now is Regan is gaining on Kalin. Kalin had a bit more of a lead than that not long ago, and I think he's slowly catching up.
Yeah, well, let's listen here. I think Mark Kalin's also clutching as well. Hold on. Yeah, he is. I think the difference here might be who's clutching longer, right? Who's waiting longer to get back into the throttle, and maybe that's where Regan's getting a bit of time. Is this how those faster reflexes? But we'll wait and see here, and then we'll need to see if pit stops become the story. It seems like they might.
Yeah, I'm curious if Kalin is starting to do some work a little too late here on his fuel saving.
Well, I think the good news for Mark Kalin, I think I saw there's a truck down pit road. That's Zachary Burnt. And I was going to say, I think the good news for Mark Kalin, I see a couple trucks ahead. Those are lap down trucks. If Kalin could get to one of them, he could save fuel by drafting and not maybe need to do all the clutching. But there's still a little bit ahead up there.
Yeah, definitely. If he can get behind somebody and run at half throttle while maintaining pace or whatever, it would be huge for the fuel saving.
Well, I can say I'm getting some word from Whataback Racing that they've been focused on this fuel save ever since we went green. The word from Whataback is they think Matt Gagnon's been too aggressive on the throttle. So, of course, they don't know. This is all guessing and estimates and who's and how's and whens and whys. But they're all thinking maybe Matt Gagnon might be the first truck not able to make it on gas.
I could definitely see that.
Remember,
Gagnon's
Matt Gagnon had a
making
great run.
Yeah, oh, huge run, but with huge run generally comes huge fuel usage. So we'll see how this shakes out.
So, I mean, besides would tell us that if fuel becomes a problem, the person hurt the most by it is Mark Kalin.
Yeah.
Because he has no one in front of him. He has no drafting help of any kind. So he's going to burn the most fuel. I mean, everyone back here, hold on, as we see this here. And I can say right now, there are some trucks who aren't going to make it. I'm hearing some calls, maybe towards the back of the field. But there are some trucks that are pitting. I think Nathan Deering, Joey Reynolds, and others are coming. Oh, there's a late entry.
Yeah, and that's what I want to keep an eye on here is we got some guys pitting in early or at least like unexpectedly. Definitely breed some caution. So that'd be good for them. Might not be as good for the leaders right now.
This is good for Mark Kalin. He has caught that purple Tobin Rossi Esports truck of Jacob Dunn. And if I'm Mark Kalin, I would maybe I would agree with myself there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Dunn apparently is this off pace. But if you're Mark Kalin, you're hoping that would have worked. Oh, there it is. We gotta get rid of that camera. That thing makes me anxious. I just that was Reese Bogue, by the way, who was down there. But I think Kalin was probably hoping that Tobin Rossi Esports truck would have been more help. Let's see if Jeff Evans gets anything. Oh, that's Richard Regan, pardon me. Gets anything from it. Maybe a little bit. And maybe a little bit's all you need here.
Definitely. Even a 10th might be the difference between making it to the end or not.
So we're seeing Jacob Dunn get lapped here. There are 10 minutes to go in this race. Now, the fact that some drivers are already pit, Bumgarner, Reynolds, and others, if you're a driver up front, what does that do to your confidence level of making it when you know some drivers have already kind of abandoned ship and went with that other call?
Yeah, definitely. First thing I'd see is like where were they before? If there were, if a lot of people are going, or if like, hey, some people in the top 5 have pitted. That's in my mind. But if it's like people in 15th or something, I'm running top 5. I'm not thinking as much about it.
Oh, here's a battle of the lane. This is Mark Kalin and Richard Regan Jr. And these guys are not thinking about anything other than where they want to be right now, because Regan is powered around the outside. And that move makes me wonder, Corey, one of two scenarios. Either A, Regan's done enough fuel saving and he's done with it and he's powered around, or B, Kalin has to do more fuel saving. By the way, I have the notes. People who pitted, I can tell you off-screen, Dustin Bumgarner is going to serve a penalty for his pit road visit the first time by. So we'll keep it focused here. But Corey, which is more likely? Regan's done pit fuel saving, or that Mark Kalin has to do more of it?
I think Regan is, as we see 3 wide here, further back. Yeah, I think Regan still needs to save fuel. He just saw an opportunity to get by, and he's going to take it while it's easy.
I'm just confused why you would do that, though. And what I mean by that is, as we said earlier, the truck up front has no one to draft. He's going to burn more fuel. I just wonder if 9 minutes to go was a little early. Now, this truck in the middle, that's not for position. That, I believe, to be Dalton Geyer. He's the first truck who pitted, and he's now got his way around pretty easily. And he will get around. If you're Richard Regan, you're almost hoping he would have slowed up a little bit and given you something. There's Reese Bogue. That's Regan's teammate. Now, here's an interesting story. Watch this. Bogue goes right on by. Does Bogue pull up in front of his team owner or his co-team owner?
I think he's going to be too fast. He's going to want to try and take another position while he can instead of holding back for a team owner.
The other people who pitted, this is the first, the best running pitters, if you want to call it that. So this is Bogue. battling right here, trying to get that spot back off of Dalton Geyer. And they, I believe, let me just check the grid. Sorry, 1 second here. They are not running for Lucky Dog, I don't think. No, they're back into the lead lap. Sorry, I had to double check that in timing and scoring. So they're trying to get ahead of the leaders. Now remember, Corey, right where we are set right now, this is a 1 hour race. We're only about a minute or two away from the next flag ending the race. I mean, if a caution comes out here, it's probably a 4 to 5 minute process to get around here. So we're only a minute or two away from a caution that's putting this thing to bed.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if you're one of the leaders, you're like, all right, I gotta make it to the end. I don't want to pit now anymore.
My goodness, look at this. If you're a leader right now, you are not happy, Corey. Whether these guys have new tires or what have you, whether they think they're justified, if you're Richard Regan, they're not justified.
No, you're just hoping they get by as soon as possible, and then that you can draft off of them. But I'm just noticing these guys are saving so hard still. Regan, Kalen. I wonder if a mix of saving and burnt tires has made this race interesting for them.
I think fuel saving is going to become the story for the next 6 minutes. I suspect you got, look at that, the numbers up top. That's how long everyone took since they pitted. All together was when the caution came out, just above 30 minutes to go. Regan, Kalen, Evans, Sharp, and Gagnon, your top 5. I suspect, Corey, at least one of these top 5, maybe more, will not make it on gas.
Oh, definitely. I wonder if Kalen's going to make it. I wonder if he was fuel saving a little too late. And I'm wondering if Evans is going to make it to the end as well, or Matt Gagnon too.
He moved up through the field pretty quickly. He's kind of fallen back here since then, so he might be saving hard. Not Stephen Kirby and Ted Lowendick was back in here. And Stephen Kirby being a menace on the back end of Matt Gagnon, is trying to make his presence felt.
Yeah, definitely.
Gagnon was pitting. Oh boy, I thought for sure maybe Gagnon was pondering something there with how low he was in the corner.
He's looking for all the positions that he can get or save right now.
Here we go, yeah. So Gagnon got passed now for P5. He's off the top 5 grid, now trying to hold off Ted Lowendick. Remember, Lowendick and Holly came into this tonight only a few points apart, and here they are running right next to one another. But here's the front of the field. That's Richard Regan. That's Bradley Holly. That's Jeff Evans well behind. And 4.5 minutes to go. Let's see who has done what. Who's done enough? Would be the question tonight. Overall, a very clean race, Corey. It's only one caution so far. Here's Richard Regan. Look at that. Got the VR headset.
I like that setup.
All the sponsors.
Sick setup.
Look at that. He made our producer's job easy. He's got his car number right there at the top left of the picture there.
He's got his win stickers and everything.
Yeah, Richard does a great job. One of the best, in my opinion, at self-promotions. Look at that. Listen to that, though. He's out of the gas before corner entry.
Oh yeah, he's saving as much as he can right now, and I gotta be the first to admit that I was wrong. You asked me earlier today, Derek, on if fuel saving was going to be an issue, and I said no, they're tires first. No, it's a fuel saving issue to win this race.
It's become that way, isn't he? Matt Gagnon seems to fall down the field. By the way, see on the back of the screen there as the camera rolls around. Here's Reese Pogue. He's still trying to make up some spots into this race. That number 4 machine, but he's currently P16. He's making a good run at this here. I mean, he's making up to the spot here. Next would be Steve Loving, Doug Evans, but he's got a far way to go in 3 minutes. I don't know if he'll get any more spots. We'll find out, though, as this race goes on. But you're right, Richard Regan, the king of self-promotion, has his girlfriend's Cupcake Company up there, Mission 22, the paint scheme company that sponsors him. And he's got it all worked out there. And by the way, that's a green screen behind him. So he gets to customize it whenever he wants to and add his win sticker. But here's Ted Lowendick. He's now around Stephen Kirby. Lowendick is now up to P4, about 3 seconds, maybe 2 seconds behind P3. Let's see if he can run down Jeff Evans in the next 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and now all these guys are thinking about is I just need to stay on track because there's no time for pitting anymore. Next flag pretty much ends the race. So with this timed format, so all these guys are saying I'm on track now. I'm staying on track, whether
That gap,
I run out of fuel or not.
that gap's almost 1.8 seconds back to the leader. And right now, I think maybe there's some guys on track who are kind of rooting for the yellow. Even if they're not going to win, Corey, there might be some drivers that the yellow flag would save on fuel mileage. We'll wait and find out in a moment here. But here's Andrew Sharp. There's Joe. There's Richard Regan. These are both live shots, by the way. There's not a replay mode. And we'll watch both happen here. But if you're Richard Regan, you probably love for yellow to come out. It only would end the race, but would ease your mind about fuel saving.
Yeah, I mean, a yellow would be great because that just means that you won the race. But he's already a second and a half ahead of Mark Kalin, so he's not sweating right now. He's just nice and comfortable. All right, let's get this race over with.
Everyone's thinking a minute and a half to go here. Top of your screen, battle for P7. That's Matt Gagnon. That is Colton Easterday, James Morgan back in that shot. Thomas Sink back there in P10. So
I can tell you who's wanting a caution right now, and that's Matt Gagnon. He is losing points lap after lap here.
yeah, Matt's had some big highlights this season. Come back to PRL after a season or two off. Had a really great run at the Chicago Road Course a couple weeks ago. He's taking the time this season to pay homage and tribute his mother, who's now cancer-free. He's had some great moments this season. Would love to get back to the top 5, but I think with a minute to go here, probably 2 laps to go. Let's see where Richard Regan takes the white flag. We'll wait and see what happens. Regan is still digging down the bottom of the corners.
I just want to point out, James Morgan is making a good run through the field right now. He's doing a great job right there in the fight.
And here we go. That was the line. And we'll see if we can get around here. I think we're going to have to maybe go around one more time. Let's see. I couldn't see the flag for that moment. But Richard Regan now around here on the back straight. We'll see when the clock hits 0 and what happens. This could be the last time by. Battle for seconds hit up, though. That's Jeff Evans.
Man.
He's now on the back end of Mark Kalin. Evans maybe decided he's done fuel saving, and he's going to go for it. 5, 4, 3, 2. That's a white flag in Barney's hand. We're going one more time around.
So look at this. Jeff Evans taking the high side. Kalin taking the low side here. Kalin's trying to take off any run that Evans can get.
Sorry, real quick. Matt Gagnon out of gas. Matt Gagnon down pit road. He will give up those spots. He will be down. Andrew Sharp is down. Jacob Dunn is down, I think. Many cars down pit road. They were hoping not to have this white flag lap. Kalin now, the last time by, is going to try to hold off. His teammate and Jeff Evans are side by side. They're 3 wide now. And I think Evans might get the run.
Evans has the run. That's that outside line working for you.
Well, that's right there, the battle for P2. Richard Regan is your race winner. We watched the battle for P2 live in the moment. There you go, Richard Regan. And I think that's James Morgan. You said he had a great run. But too great of a run, Corey, because he is out of gas.
He was banking on that white flag coming out.
I think a lot of drivers were, and it was only a second or 2 apart. But Morgan's going to limp it around here and kind of slowly coast it around to the checkered flag. Wow, wow, wow. What a big moment. What a great run by Richard Regan. Great run by your top 3. The whole field. 1 caution, lots of fuel saving, lots of stories late in the race.
Yeah, I think anybody that finished on fuel there at the end should be proud of themselves. That's a big accomplishment. That's hard to do. I don't think I can do finish in the top 10 in that race. I can't fuel.
Well, let's see how much fuel is left. This will be the test right here, Corey. If he could do a burnout, he had more fuel than he thought he did. Oh, he had plenty.
Oh, so
he was
much.
faking all along. That rascal. He had more fuel than we thought he did. If you can do a burnout after the race, you had fuel enough to spin. Although that might be it right there. It's not going very fast. Oh, no, there's still burning out.
He's doing style points right now. This is how I like to burn out. You just hold that throttle and brake at the same time and just cruise down the track.
Other people may have had fuel problems. Apparently Richard Regan did not, because if you can burn it down, you got room to go. Boy, oh boy, what a great race it was. Let's take a look at the race results top to bottom. Let's see how it lines up here. So Richard Regan by 2 seconds beats Jeff Evans. Mark Kalen's back in P3. Ted Lowendick is back in P4 with his teammate Bradley Holly behind him in P5. Then it's Kirby, Sink, Lane, Easterday, and Daniel Knight, your top 10, Corey.
Yeah, and then 11th is Doug Evans with Reese Bogue behind him, Loving, Deering, Adams, Dalton Geyer in 16th, Burnt, Morgan, Sharp, and Hunter to round out the top 20.
Yeah, Sharp and Hunter, your first 2 cars a lap down. Let's move back into P21. Ryan Newman's a lap down, so is Sam Smeltzer and Edward Peltz. Then from here, it's 2 or more laps down. Zerowick, Toomer, Amacy, Panzarella, Matt Gagnon finishes 3 laps down in 28th. Dunn, 3 laps down in 29th. Bumgarner, 4 laps down in 30th. Move to the last page here for the last couple cars. Williams, Nicholas Hunter, Williams, Reynolds, Schwartz, Hillman, Lawrence, and Austin Hunter round out a 38 truck field here at Homestead, Miami Speed. Let's look top to bottom at your race results. And boy, oh boy, what an incredible race it was. Well, I think we can safely say as of this moment, maybe not the first time to see, well, definitely not the first time to see, and probably not the last time this season. Let's go and welcome in Richard Regan Jr. Richard, it's another win in the PRL Truck Series.
Yeah, it was nice to finally get one on fuel mileage. It's been a while, so I'll take it, and definitely made things interesting there after that caution.
So I have a sarcastic bone to pick with you here. You made us think you had a fuel mileage problem. You were clutching and lifting into corners, and if you have enough gas to do a burnout after the race, you were lying to me, young man.
Well, the thing with the timed races is, depending on when I hit the flag stand, so I would have been good if we didn't get the white until a lap later, but it would have been really close. So I just wanted to make sure I had a buffer in case we did an extra lap. But because we didn't have to do the extra lap, that's why I had enough fuel for the burnout.
So big run tonight, up 27 spots. Of course, not able to qualify due to last week. And that first run, you went massive, I think plus 13, plus 14 before the caution. Was the goal just to go all out the first run?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to take it a little easier, but I mean, when you're so far back there, it's so hard to pass on the bottom. So I pretty much had to rip the top most of the time, and I burnt off the right rear a little bit. And right before that caution came out, I got around Mark, and I was gonna just try to close the gap to the guys in front of me a little bit, because I know we were coming up to the pit stops in a couple laps. But then that caution came out, and after that first run, I knew I had to be super aggressive on the restart. I think we took it 4 wide going into turn 1, and we were able to get the lead eventually. And I knew it was going to be close on fuel, but I wanted the clean air. Yeah, I'm just glad that it all played out in our favor tonight.
Well, you still got a few wins to go to catch Bradley in the all-time oval win list, but you got one more in the bag tonight. So next week and the week after, 2 super speedways in a row. Are you glad you got this win and close that point gap before those start?
Yeah. I mean, because I missed Chicago, I don't have a drop week. So next week in Atlanta, I'm just going to try to survive. I think when the results get posted from this race, the drop week will be included. So hopefully I have a decent point lead, maybe like at least 10 points. That way I can just play it safe these next 2 weeks. And I know we go to a road course, and Teddy's going to be fast at the road course in a couple weeks. So it's going to be an interesting season to see how it plays out.
All right, well, if we'll pull that camera back up or not, but here, let's let the best in the business do it. Go ahead and do that self-promotion. Tell us who you need to thank after the race.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Neonism Paint. You need a paint, go to facebook.com/neonism. Tell them the PRL sent you. Jay-Z Photography, Mission 22, Multiple Sclerosis Society, Stant Analyzer, everybody on Regenberg Motorsports, everyone at PRL, and you guys at RaceSpot.
Well, great job, Rich. You can add another win sticker below your name over there, and we'll see you in 1 week's time at Daytona.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Richard Regan Jr., your race winner here again tonight. Now we catch up with the man who finished P2, and Corey Ensing catches up with Jeff Evans.
Yeah, Jeff, congratulations on P2 there, making that last lap pass. I wanted to ask you first, What was your thinking there in the last few laps and trying to take second place?
Hoping that my math was being done right, and hoping I actually had enough fuel to actually push to get Mark. I wasn't sure he had enough because of the gap he had built to us, so kind of wanted to push him and see if he was gonna sputter coming to line, but I had nothing for Rich. He obviously had a lot better fuel saving than me, but man, that was stressful.
Yeah, I believe that. Did you realize early on in that run that you would have to fuel save, or was that something mid-run? Hey, team, I think we need a fuel save now.
No, I knew before we went back green that we were going to be a couple of laps short. It was just a matter of like saving it throughout the whole run. So it was nice to have that many laps to save it, but definitely stressed with the restart, with everybody kind of all bunched up again, and then we started having those guys that were pitting halfway with fresh tires and full fuel just coming ripping by. So it got a little dicey, but yeah, it was the full stint trying to stretch it out for the last, like, I don't know, gallon and a half, 2 gallons.
Yeah, that was fun to watch from up here. Just seeing you guys strategize out, seeing who was started fuel saving when. So, how was the truck out there? Was it slick, tight? What we seen that boat.
Felt great for me. I mean, the first run when I was able to push, obviously I had clean air the entire time, so it was smooth sailing there. It was a bummer that the caution came out, but I mean, once we got going back, like, there was so much fuel saving going on. The truck it was able to kind of go where you wanted it to go anyways. You weren't really pushing too hard and like washing out in the corners or anything. So, well, if you were doing it right, but so yeah, I didn't have any issues. Just kind of the way the race fell.
Sweet. Yeah, you look good out there. I mean, qualifying P1 and holding there out front for the first run was pretty impressive there.
Yeah, thanks. That was a surprise. I did not think that lap didn't feel quick in qualifying, and it's been a while since I had a pole, so it was nice to get it, but definitely a surprise for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people say the laps that feel slow are actually the quickest. So
yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you want to thank for this race, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Always got to thank Miracle Flow, and thank all the guys over at Waterback. And then also thank the Solpec Precision Racing team and all their sponsors, Abruzzi and Virtual Mindset. And yeah, that's it. And thanks for you guys too for putting on the race.
Definitely. Well, congratulations on P2 and making that last corner pass, and hope you do well next week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
That's Jeff Evans finishing P2 here tonight at Homestead at Miami Speedway. Now let's go ahead and catch up with Mark Kalin. Mark, a P3 tonight. You led some laps. I guess this is a Mark Kalin racetrack. Do we not have Mark Kalin?
I have
Oh,
my
there he
push to
is.
talk still on. Sorry about that, fellas.
There we go. That's okay. So, yeah, this feels like a Mark Kalin racetrack.
I can assure you it is not. I just have never been able to figure out Homestead with managing the tires. I got lucky this evening with the fuel management because apparently I'm pretty good at that after my first win in the ovals being a fuel mileage race, and then this one having a podium. So apparently I'm good at saving fuel. But yeah, definitely not a Mark Kalin type track. Never really had success here, so this is just a magical run for me, and I honestly doubt I'd ever repeat it anytime soon.
So at what point, we talked to Jeff a second ago, and he said basically when you guys went green, but for you, when did you know that fuel saving was the story? Were you also like, hey, when we went green, we know from there, or when did you sort of figure out that was going to become a problem?
So I knew we were short when we pit under yellow, but it didn't click with me that I needed to save fuel until after I got around Richard. I knew they were saving tires, but it just didn't click to me that, oh my gosh, they're saving fuel too. So it was about when I passed Richard and started building a gap on him that I realized that's not just tires, that's fuel too. So that's when I started to back it down a little bit, start clutching into the corner, and Yeah, I had an awesome run to the finish. Tried to hold Jeff off there, but he got me right there at the line, and I ran out right as we crossed the line, so had it right on the money.
So I got two last things for you. One, I got to tell you that unofficially in the booth tonight, we decided unofficially you have the cutest dogs on a race truck award secured. I wanted to let you know that the bed of that truck is amazing with those two dogs right there. So congrats on that. Two, have you ordered the light kit for the Titanic yet?
I have not ordered the light kit yet.
Oh, come on.
I've had a lot of bills pop up, so it's down low on the list right now, unfortunately.
Get this man a
But
GoFundMe account or something. Let's get it
hey,
started. Get the
I'm
Mark
here for
Kalin
it.
Titanic Lego set GoFundMe going.
But yeah, no, I got to give a shout out to Jeff for the beautiful paint scheme for Buster's Buds Racing Team, and I wanted to have my real doggos on there, but it just didn't work out with the software and the paint. So you got those anime ones on there, but yeah, still looks great. So appreciate the shout out for the paint there tonight, there, Derek.
All right, Mark. Well, listen, P3 tonight. Great job, and we'll see you in 1 week at Daytona.
Looking forward to it, guys. Super speedways are my forte, so hopefully back it up next week.
We'll hope so. We'll see you there. All right. Well, that's Mark Kalin fishing P3 tonight, and Corey top to bottom. What a great night this was for racing. It's beautiful racing, 2, 3, 4 wide racing, fuel mileage, everything you could ask for in a single race.
Definitely, and it was almost everything I expected too. Just this is what you get. It's reason why it's in my top 5 racetracks on the service. It's just it's excitement over the whole run. You get to work your 2, 3, 4 wide at the beginning. You get to work your tire saving and fuel saving towards the end. So
You thought the 2, 3, or 4 wide racing was fun tonight. Wait till next week. We come back to the Grand Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. We come there 1 week's time. We'll put all these trucks on the track, and we'll wait and see what happens. 1 week time, February 12th, 2025, 9 p.m. Eastern time, here live on Race Spot. Well, for Corey Ansing, for Dustin Allis, our producer, I am Derek Watson saying congrats to Richard Regan Jr. here at a race win, where you can watch this race and every race on our YouTube channel at RaceSpotTV. Thank you, and good night.